The Power Pod is an exclusive WSB radio production.
Lay him on the back, Tina.
Thank you, young lady.
I didn't want to show him or he would know.
And go ahead and give him another cut. Go ahead. Now, I mean, normally if a cut, was cut like 8 times or something like that, or however many times we've done it, just finish the cut if you would.
Oh, God.
Finish the cut.
Yeah,
Like
you
right
take the other half and you put it on top.
Okay.
I take back what I said earlier.
Okay.
I take back what I said earlier.
I can't do magic.
This is the Power Pod with Randi Okray, Christina Aicklen, Nicole Bennett, and your host, WSB's Jared Yamamoto.
Yeah, that's right. You're listening to the Power Pod, and I am Jared Yamamoto, and you can hear me every day on the Von Hessler Doctrine on News 95.5 and AM 750 WSB here in Atlanta, Georgia. We survived another week of May Madness to do this again. I'm actually coming in on my vacation week to see you beautiful people. I see Randi O smiling over there. Look at her. I missed you, Randi. It's only been half a week, but I'm so happy to see your smiling face.
You know, Jared, as much as I be wanting to be like a butthole to you sometimes, it's hard because you just have this, you're smiling all happy, like, damn, I got to smile and be happy too.
Exactly, right? People want to be mean to me, but I drown you in happiness, right?
Unfortunately.
See, you love it, though. You love it. And Nicolio, I see you over there. How are you doing this week?
Great. We missed you, Jared. We really did.
Well, I hope that Millennial Row, which is the area where we all sit here in the gigantic WSB newsroom, I hope that Millennial Row's been, held together, okay? I expect you guys to take on a lot of the responsibility while I'm not there.
We try. We do the best we can, I think. Soldier on. To say.
What?
It's been very empty, though. It has. I will say that.
It has been kind of like dull a little bit.
Well, I'm happy to come back for just today, but don't worry. I am going back on vacation after this week's show. And over there in the corner, I see Christina Aicklen. Christina, how are you this week?
I'm doing great. How are you? A little tired from the weekend. I feel it. Well, I don't know why I'm saying the weekend. But, we're here back at WSB. I'm ready to run, baby.
Well, we were at Hangout Music Festival this past weekend, and it finally concluded our May Madness loop.
Okay.
Which is where, we did Shaky Knees, Shaky Beats, and Hangout Music Fest on back-to-back-to-back weekends. And needless to say, I am hurting. I'm still hurting at this point, and I have intentionally tried to unplug and intentionally tried to just let my brain relax a little bit because that's a fun thing to do. If you haven't had a chance to go to
I'll deserve that every now and then.
Right. Well, if you haven't had a chance to go to the Hangout Music Festival, it's down in Gulf Shores, and it's just, it's two of the best things. Live music on a beach. It's hard to beat that.
And you guys, very nice tan that you have.
Yeah.
I love this tan.
What can I say? I tan naturally well.
SPF 30 always. SPF 30. All I gotta say, just protect your skin.
Good tips, Tina.
Now, for those that are just new to the Power Pod, if this is the first one that you're listening to, the Power Pod is a weekly recap show where we cover the current events of the week. And it's a show where we're not afraid to get serious and we're not afraid to have some fun while we do it. There were things, believe it or not, that happened while I was out of here, which is, I know it's hard to imagine that the world went on without me being here.
Okay. It's been so quiet.
There were some things that happened out there.
I'm young,
And I have to address this again. This conversation that's happening here in Georgia and especially in the South, the abortion conversation. This, for my Democrat friends, nothing has happened to Roe v. Wade yet. So people need to relax a little bit about it. It's intense. I get that people are passionate about it. But even at this music festival, we saw people wearing the shirt 1973 on it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
At the festival, making the point. Now, granted, Gulf Shores is in Alabama, and the abortion law that they passed was much more restrictive than the one here in Georgia. And it's understandable to be passionate about your viewpoints and whatnot, but nothing has changed with Roe v. Wade. Now, I got to go after my Republican friends here for a second, because what Brian Kemp said earlier this week was completely antagonizing to all those on the left.
We value and protect innocent life, even though it makes C-list celebrities squawk.
Stop
Wow.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, stop it. For those on the right, stop antagonizing. You're wondering why these people are out here in the streets saying this.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
If I heard this,
We value and protect innocent life, even though it makes C-list celebrities squawk.
I would understand why people are getting passionate about it. So to my friends on the right, you're getting state victories throughout the South and Midwest. I think Missouri was the last one to pass an abortion light law like that. We don't know anything until it gets challenged by the Supreme Court, so everyone just needs to take a chill pill. The other thing that is just driving me crazy right now, and again, taking a week off, fresh mind on all this stuff, the impeachment talks with Trump. Democrats, if you're going to impeach him, just do it. It's a process that we go through. The reason why they're not doing it at this point is because they're worried that they're going to lose in 2020. But when you have Nancy Pelosi saying stuff like this,
the President of the United States is engaged in a cover-up.
Okay, if he is engaged in a cover-up, then you need to start the impeachment process. Just go on and get it going. Stop playing this game where you push it off from week to week to week like this. And Trump, again, let's go over to the Republican side for just a second. Trump is not helping himself when he says stuff like this.
All of a sudden, I hear last night they're going to have a meeting right before this meeting to talk about the I word. The I word. Can you imagine? I don't speak to Russians about campaigns. When I went to Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania, I don't say, oh, let's call Russia. Maybe they can. It's a hoax.
So let's address this. Let's address this at a head. Right? Like it's ridiculous. President Trump, calm down. The impeachment process has not begun yet. Democrats are just going to do what they're going to do for a little while. So he needs to stop bringing it up and stop covering it. It's not irrelevant until it actually happens. For the Democrats, what's that old saying where if you're on the pot, you got to go on and do it, right?
Oh, didn't they say that? Somebody on Congress made a comment today. Either urinate or get off the pot.
Right.
That was a soundbite today. The senator said, I don't know which one it was.
I'm not sure who said it either, but thank goodness somebody finally said it.
They said it today.
Because at this point, you've got to do it. Like, this has been drawn out for months now. If the Robert Mueller report on Russian collusion wasn't enough for you, I mean, which is completely out, the redacted report is out like that, and it wasn't enough for you, then go through the impeachment process. That's why we have a constitution. That's why we do it. But playing this game and drawing it out all the way till 2020, I get that some people think it's strategic, but I think most people have news fatigue now. I mean, right? I mean, Nicole and Randy, we're in this right now. I mean, news fatigue is a thing.
Yeah.
And
it's a little annoying and draining a little bit. Like, there we go.
And for us to take, I took the entire week off just to kind of digest things. And for the two top stories to be abortion and impeachment again, that's exactly what it was the week before.
Yeah.
So you know what? I pride myself about the Power Pod about is that we cover things that are, number one, a lot more fun, but we can also get serious at the same time too. And we're not going to drag ourselves down with these type of stories. We're going to have some fun today, right? Like, we need to have some fun. Yeah. See, we need to have some fun. And that's why, Randy, I know you've got something over there for me.
Yes,
this is an interesting thing that happened.
Yes, guys. So I don't know if this would be labeled as fun, but first of all, you ladies and gentlemen, and Georgie Porgy, are you guys familiar
Producer
with
Georgie Porgy over there. I don't give him enough love over there.
Give him a shout out. I love Georgie, okay? So the word...
Great stash.
The word... Yes. The word compost. Anybody familiar with that is? Like...
Yes.
Okay, what is compost? Because I, unfortunately, was unfamiliar.
Oh, wow. I didn't think you were going to
Okay, sorry. No, okay. Tina,
just chime in.
Yeah, what's compost mean?
I have no idea.
That's where you recycle things.
Yes, trash, pretty much. So I was reading an article today about, like, to be more, as Jared's, environmentally friendly, instead of being cremated or getting buried, they're ask you to, do a compost of your body, which they will mix with wood chips and some other kind of things to create some soil within a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
How do you feel about that?
It's greener, so that's why they're trying to.
Is it?
They worry that.
Is it though? Come on.
Well, they worry that when you cremate somebody, that the ashes and emissions are bad for the air, the air
ozone
quality.
Layer.
Yeah, and bad for the ozone layer. But I can't imagine one cremation like that having that much of an impact,
Even
right?
It's not one cremation; it's like several million a year. So
right. So, but if you add it all up like that, does it really make that big of an impact on the ozone layer? I mean, look, what you do with my body is fine after I'm done with it. I would. I mean, if you want to, I mean, it's not. But
really leaving that open there.
But you're dead at that point. Like, nobody. I mean, I have no say as to what will happen with it.
Well, I will say for me, which kind of turned me off about the story, like, they're gonna take your body with wood chips and some other kind of like type of, and I'm like, how are they going to crush it up to be this dirt? Like they're going to crunch up my body. It freaks me out. Let me just let the good old Mother Earth naturally decompose me in that coffin. What y'all think?
You know how expensive coffins are?
I know.
That's what people are. They're trying to reduce costs too, because coffins are expensive and they take up a lot of real estate. And who's to say, Randy, that you were, hanging out in the playground, you're hanging with one of your young nephews and you picked up, a piece of grandma out on the ground like that.
Jared!
No, come on.
I just think there's more environmental things you can focus on than maybe
your
that.
body.
Like let's start with something else. I don't know.
Start with things you could do while you're living.
Right. Yes.
To maybe cut back on your carbon footprint.
Come on, carbon footprint.
And then we could talk about compost.
Come on, Nicole.
Which I am the expert on.
You are the
articulate. I just love Nicole.
I think she's part of the composting brigade over there. I see her. I see her.
Are you a brand ambassador for composting?
No.
Speaking of Nicole, what you got over there? What's your story?
Okay, so this is kind of a weird one. Moby, I don't know if you guys remember Moby. He had
Moby Dick. Yes,
that's exactly who we're talking about. the whale. So, was that the whale?
Yes. Oh, there he is.
Wow,
he's in the studio.
What was that?
Wow, Jared. Moby.
All right, we got
Jared.
it. Somebody off his mic.
So Moby is. I hate to be judgmental. He's very different, very unique. He had that song come out in 1999, Southside, with Gwen Stefani.
Yes.
I was telling you guys before the show, when I was younger, the music video, Gwen Stefani licks his head. And I remember, as a kid, certain songs or music videos, you're kind of like, ooh, am I supposed to see this? And I felt kind of bad. I felt rebellious. Because it's a great song, too.
Were you licking random things around you?
I can't deny
Still
or confirm that right now.
Hey, get away from Randy, Nicole. No, get away. Stop trying to lick her.
No, so he just wrote a tell-all book. When you've got somebody who's as eccentric as him, you can only imagine that there's going to be a lot that comes out that people on the receiving end of these stories are not going to be too happy about it. Natalie Portman is one of those people. Ew. Her perspective is they met after one of his shows. He said she was 20. She said, no, I was 18. And I found his behavior kind of creepy. Moby's version is that they dated and had a brief fling. And she's saying, no, that's not the case. So he put up a picture on Instagram. This is the photo, which I know it's hard if it's a podcast. But that to me,
so his face is grimacing, guys.
Yeah, so he's shirtless, he's smiling, and Natalie Portman is definitely a baby in this photo.
Yeah, she's a baby.
She is an absolute baby, but she is fully clothed, just so everyone knows.
Yes, she is.
She's fully clothed. It's not like it's a sex pic or anything like that.
No, it's not.
She looks uncomfortable.
Could it have been photoshopped?
Well, who knows? But they definitely met after his show.
Yeah.
Long story short, I just think when these tell-all books come out, it opens people. I can't imagine having my life on display like that, especially without my.
So she can sue him,
I don't know. It's defamation. I would think that you can't do that. I feel bad for her.
How many people though have honestly come out there and said, and we'll ask you guys too on the other side because I'm hearing Georgie. I know we got to take a break here in a second. We'll talk more about this on the other side. I want to ask these ladies here: how many men have falsely accused you guys of doing something with them on the other side?
The Power Pod on WSB Radio. Join the show at 800-WSB-TALK or leave a comment using the open mic feature on the WSB Radio app.
All right, Nicole, so you were telling us about this crazy Natalie Portman Moby accusation story. What's the synopsis of this?
He said, she said. I think it's one of those where the truth is somewhere in the middle. Everybody's got their own version. But Moby says they briefly dated in 1999. Natalie Portman says, no, we did not. I found him creepy, met him after a show. And check out the photo on Instagram. He puts up a post. He says, I respect her a lot. I would have regretted dating me too, but it happened. I don't know. It's up for you guys to decide.
Now, this is a show where it's me and 3 ladies on the show, and I have heard plenty of things from men about what they have done to ladies out there. Now, I wanted to ask you guys, before we went to break, how many men did you guys have? How many suitors did y'all have that would spew lies and rumors about if they did stuff to y'all. I mean, do you guys have personal stories like that where guys would say stuff like that?
Yeah, I do. Okay.
Right. I think every woman pretty much
Shout out
does.
to my haters. I want to tell this one little story because it almost tried to ruin my high school, life. Okay. Anyway, I was freshman homecoming princess, and the rumor was going out from this one guy. Oh, well, the reason that she won is because she slept with the whole football team.
See?
And I was
stuff,
like,
it's not
I had
uncommon.
just transferred to that school. So I was just kind of like, what? I remember crying about it when I found out who the guy was.
Oh, no.
All I'm going to say is that I got suspended. Okay. He did too. And he ain't going to allow me no more. That's all I got to say.
Did it get physical?
I didn't put those paws on him.
Yeah, I mean, it's
You
effed
don't sit
up.
up here and talk about me.
No, it's not okay, but I think it happens to everybody. Tina, I'm sure you've got a story about something like that.
I mean, yeah.
Go ahead. No, get real. This is the time to do it right here.
College is where it was really.
There's nobody else out there right now. It's
Thank you,
just the four of us now talking
That's
about
right.
it.
Well, you're the only. You and Georgie are the only guys in the room.
Right.
So this is. Let me think. In college was probably the worst time because if you weren't really dating a guy, but they really had the hots for you, they always like to talk to their buddies. Oh yeah, like she's totally gonna, go to the movies with me tonight. We're gonna do stuff later. That. No, like I'm not into you. You're my friend. We're not past that point. So guys like to talk the talk, but they can't walk the walk.
Nope.
Nicolea, what about you? You went to UGA. I know that I'm sure surely there were stories out there where guys would spread false rumors about things that have happened, right?
None that I didn't start myself, usually.
Oh, you were the rumor starter. Wow.
No. I can't, to be honest, I can't think of a particular example. When I was hearing your stories, I was thinking to myself, it's amazing how when you're young, at that age, you think that, especially in college, that you're old enough and I can handle a lot. And people are so immature still. We are still such babies, in a sense, and don't know how to handle, I think, situations like that. It's just very, very sad to me.
Yeah.
And I knew guys that would say that too. They'd be like, "Oh man, I slept with her, and I slept with her,"
Yeah.
and then I had a great advantage because I had a lot of sisters growing up, and it was much easier for me to talk to ladies at the time, like growing up through middle and high school, and was able to get lots of girlfriends out of it because I realized quickly that y'all were human beings too out of it. Like for some reason, guys had this mental block, that women are not the same thing as men, and so therefore you've got to treat them differently, which was completely the wrong advice for it.
Sorry, I was just going to say I'll give you some credit though, in that I think both men and women growing up have a different set of pressure on both sides, and I think that men. Speaking, maybe asking you, don't you feel you have a pressure to talk the talk a little?
A little bit,
cool?
sure, of course.
Locker room talk, stuff
of course,
like that.
But in the beginning, though, once you initially are friends with somebody, then at that point you start to realize, okay, they're cool, and you can be real with them.
It's no excuse.
Kind of like how we are right now. Like, I mean, we all had to kind of talk the talk to each other. You guys had to all,
Randy, I hate that happened to Randy.
Yeah, that really,
nasty.
really bothers me.
The exact same thing happened in high school. My freshman year in college. I'm saying. Same football team crap. But you know what? At the end of the day, I learned these guys, because they wanted it to happen. They wanted it to be the reality so bad that they were going to lie. But, I feel like my personality, my integrity kind of showed for myself. Yeah. And people stopped believing it. But it's just horrible. Like, don't do that.
Well, and it made you stronger probably at the end, too. It made you realize that you just can't trust everybody out there.
Yeah.
Shout
out to the haters.
Which is unfortunate. But I think going back to the Moby and Natalie Portman story, I believe Natalie Portman, because I know, again,
I do love Natalie Portman, too.
Plenty of guys. She just seems like a class act. And I think that Moby, I'm sorry, but he can start the rumor train all he wants on that kind of stuff. But I think most people are going to believe the women in that case. Tina, what you got over there?
Okay, well, I've got two stories that are literally out of this world. Ooh. Space stuff. Oh, yeah. All right, guys. So the first story is about the Pentagon is finally admitting that they're investigating UFOs.
Thank you.
Right.
Finally.
Yeah. Finally own up to your cool research. Okay. So they're going to continue to protect our homeland and find some new info about aliens.
Oh, You got the FBI music. Remember that FBI thing?
I wish I had
it.
it.
Is it called FBI? No. Forensic. You know the Scully.
Oh, X-Files, yes.
Oh my God.
We made it.
We
We're
did it.
there.
Thank you.
Ray, this is all I've got for you, Ray. This is all I've got.
God, I see them now. You see the aliens flying in the UFOs. Yeah, so that'll be interesting. I wonder if they'll ever, reveal to us their
Never.
findings. There was a 33-second video that showed a thing flying in the air and some jets flying after, some Navy jets flying after
a UFO?
it.
A flying saucer.
They won't reveal what it was.
Well, what's the
But
other
it was an
space
unknown
story?
object. And then the second story was about a mile-wide asteroid with its own moon circling past. It's going to circle past Earth. So
Whoa.
That's on Saturday, right?
Saturday, yes.
Oh,
And,
that'll be exciting.
that is
That'll be
kind of-
exciting
that
this
is-
weekend.
Is it? Can we see it with the naked eye though?
We can see, well, maybe not from Georgia, but on the southern hemisphere we can see it, and then also it'll pass again in 2036.
Oh my gosh, mark your eye cows,
So,
guys. It's coming soon.
Oh my God, how
That's
old
pretty
would we be?
amazing.
That's going to be great.
God.
We're all
think
going to
about
be
that.
together.
You're
We're-
46 years old.
yeah.
Is that how old you're going to be in 2036?
And you know what, guys?
Yes.
That's depressing.
You know what, guys? We're still going to be doing the Power Pod together.
Yeah,
then,
we are.
too.
Oh,
Making that money.
Yes, and on that note, we'll be right back.
From Atlanta to beyond, it's the Power Pod. Join the show at 800 WSB Talk or leave a comment using the open mic feature on the WSB radio app.
And we're back here on the Power Pod, and we found out a lot about everybody in the last break. I'm glad that these young men, didn't bring you nice ladies down, and we're all going to have some fun. But you know what? We have a special guest in house, but I can't have a guest on until we play the actual sounder, guys.
Georgie Pooh, are we expecting guests?
Yes, we are, Randy-O. Now let's see who it is.
Now, Peter, I know it kind of sounds like an old school porno there, but you know what? Well, when we have guests on, we like to make you feel welcome, really welcome when you're here on the Power Pod.
Clearly.
Now, Peter Morrison, you're from the Atlanta Magic Theater,
Yes.
and we became friends a couple months ago. I actually met you down at your residency at the Embassy Suites, and we started talking, and you started doing some amazing tricks, which a lot of people are saying, oh, in an audio medium like a radio show, how in the world are you going to be able to pull this off? But listen, I was so blown away by them, and Christina was so blown away by them,
Yes.
that we had to have you on the air here to talk about it. So tell us a little about your story, man, and how you got here to Atlanta.
Well, it's kind of crazy. I took a leap of faith about 20 years ago and quit the corporate job to be a magician, and that was a great conversation with my wife.
What a jump, right?
Wow, yeah.
You should have been there when I came home. Honey, by the way, I made this great decision. You know the job I have, the one with all the benefits? Yeah, I'm quitting that to do magic.
I'm sure that went over well.
It went over well. She actually was on board. She knew it was a passion, not just a hobby. So I stuck with it and opened a show in San Francisco in 2010. Ran that for several years and then decided that I wanted to move on to the next project. And so Atlanta seemed like a wonderful place, and we're so pleased we moved out here. We love it.
Now, we found something in common in our talks over at the Embassy Suites, and that is that you now live in Fayette County, which is where I grew up here in the city, which Fayette County on the south end of Atlanta is gorgeous. And I'm so happy that you guys picked, of all the places to come, I don't know how much research you guys did when you guys came. Okay, good. So you did do a lot of research. I saw, as I was looking through your websites and stuff, that you had a residency in Peachtree City for a little while, too. Is that still going on as well?
Yeah, so there's two brands in Georgia. We have Atlanta Magic Theater, which is downtown, of course, at the Embassy Suites, and then Georgia Magic Theater, which is in Peachtree City. And that plays over at a restaurant called Due South, and they have a wonderful event center above it, and we run that show typically monthly.
It's a big old city, so a lot of people don't want to make the drive up here. You can go down on the south side and hang out with Peter and whatnot. Now, to go from San Francisco and the West Coast, it seems like in your profession, for what you wanted to do, it seems like you would end up in Las Vegas or something like that. Why?
Right.
Why Atlanta over a Las Vegas or a Los Angeles?
Do you want the real story, Jared?
I want the real story. That's why you're here right now. I'm excited, man.
So the real story is I had visited my wife's family back in Virginia. She's from the South and has family in Georgia. Came home, had a wonderful time visiting her family. She's got a big family, and came back to San Francisco and just was looking at my life saying, do I want to be raising my family in this congested Bay Area where everyone's kind of entitled? Truly, it's kind of the way the Bay Area has become.
Of course, yeah.
Because everyone's a millionaire. And I said, well, what have I really not done? And so I literally got on the hands and knees and prayed about it, said, God, if it's meant for me to leave, then show me a sign. And that night, a guy from Georgia came to my show and said, how would you like to bring your show to Georgia? And he owned a theater in Atlanta. And I'm like, well, okay, that can't be a coincidence.
Oh, wow,
so,
yeah.
There it is. And so I went home and told my wife, good Southern Baptist that she is, and she's like, praise Jesus. We're moving to Georgia. So we researched it, of course, due diligence. And, it's just a wonderful place to do what I do. There's not a lot of live entertainment in Atlanta, at least not ongoing. And so it's really created a nice niche, and I love it. I mean, fun audience, great audience.
Right, which you're doing that now at the Embassy Suites. You do one show on Friday and then 2 shows on Saturday, right?
That's right, yeah. 8:30 on Fridays and 6:30 and 9:30 on Saturdays.
And what's the website for people to, if they want to do this? Because, again, we had the magical experience of going. I know that Nicole and Randy have not had a chance to see it, but they really want to see it.
But they will come. They will come.
Absolutely.
I have a feeling.
I'm giving him the side eye right now. Let me just tell the people that's not listening. So I went ahead and got acquainted with Peter. By the way, ladies, he's just so poised and elegant and fancy schmancy. Really anyway, I told him, I said, hey, I want you to know, Peter, I'm a skeptic. Do you know he tried to unskep me? I was like, is this real?
He already did a trick?
He did a trick with the card thing. I picked the card. It was under his shoe. He said he got fancy special shoes, but he picked my card. I was like, man, this dude is pulling my leg. Good job, Peter. Good job.
Thank you.
You're all right with me.
And back to Jared's question, by the way, what's great about our domain name, same as the name of the show, AtlantaMagicTheater.com. So
great. How easy.
Unbelievably available when I moved to Georgia.
That's great. Look at that. It worked out well for you. Now, I don't want to put you on the spot here, but, you were talking about how you gave Randy this personal magic show out in the hallway.
Oh, I'm so nervous.
I
think Nicole definitely needs to see it. And I think producer Georgie Porgy needs to see it as well, too. So I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Georgie Porgy clearly needs more magic in his life. I can tell.
Whoa.
So I think it would be awesome. I mean, if you could just, I know this is an audio medium, but I would love it if you had some tricks that you wanted to show us in here.
Jared, I don't do tricks, only miracles. So let's be clear.
Okay.
Let's be clear.
I apologize. Excuse me.
You got to make it clear to the audience what's really happening. Witchcraft. No. We're in Georgia. They might burn me at the stake. You got to be careful,
especially down on the south side.
That's right. Down in the Bible Belt, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Well, here I got one for the ladies. Now, I think mind reading is one of the greatest gifts that I have. It's a learned skill.
Okay.
But after doing corporate sales for all the years that I did, I got pretty good at it. So I like to try something that is not just mind reading, but it's actually using my intuition as well. Now, I mean, to do this live on the radio is a little challenging, but I know we can do it together if we work at it. So what we're going to do is have a card picked. Now, Jared, one of the things people say all the time is, if I'm holding the deck of cards, then of course I'm doing the sleight of hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
The under the magic shoes, right?
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about.
But Randy is still skeptical now.
She's just still admiring my shoes. Let's be honest. So what we're going to do is actually have a card removed, and then the beautiful panel of ladies that we have here, they're the ones that are going to do the cutting of the cards. I won't even touch them. I mean, totally hands off. It's only fair. And I'm just going to come over here. So, yes, no, we'll all be involved. So here, first, first we'll have the skeptic pick, and that would be lovely. So,
Randy.
Okay, she's picking a card.
Now, Randy, you know the rules. Don't show me, but show the girls. Show the girls. Okay?
Got it. I got it.
Now,
in my
Randy,
head.
I'm trusting that you follow direction very well. Don't show me, Randy.
Nicole just said, should I say it out loud?
Don't show me.
No.
That would save time, Nicole. Thank you. Thank you. So, Randy, real quick, just put that on top of the deck. Now, what I want you to do, have you ever touched cards before? Have you dealt with a deck of cards?
Yes.
I'd like you to give them what's called like a straight cut. Just cut the cards a straight cut. That's perfect. Now slide those off and put them all on top. This is the perfect table for this. Now hand them down the line, leaving them in that order if you would, and then go ahead and cut the cards again. Cut the cards again. Now, what's happening here, Jared, is that right now I'm not in control of where they're being cut, obviously.
Right.
Continue to hand them down the line, and give them another cut if you would. You're doing a beautiful job. That was actually much better than the other girls. Really nice. Put that on top. Okay, now
I don't really touch
now
cards.
to make it more difficult, we're going to change the orientation of the cards to turn the entire deck face up, the entire thing. Just turn the whole thing over. This actually now changes the whole dimension of what we're doing. And yes, turn them all face up. Just set them.
Lay them on the back, Tina.
Thank you, young lady.
I didn't want to show him or he would know.
And go ahead and give him another cut. Go ahead. Now, I mean, normally if a cut, was cut like 8 times or something like that, or however many times we've done it, finish the cut if you would.
Oh, God.
Finish the cut.
Yeah,
Tina's like
you
five right
take
now.
you take the other half and you put it on top.
Okay.
I take back what I said earlier.
Okay.
I take back what I said earlier.
I can't
Now,
do magic.
Go ahead and move it down the line to the professionals. Okay, girls, give them another cut. Go
Nicole,
for it.
we're in big.
Peter is a comedian
All
and a
right.
musician.
Now hand them back down. That's enough. Turn them all face down
That's
again.
enough.
Now here's the deal, ladies. I think you would agree that was pretty fair. I never touched the cards. You did all the work. You cut them out, I don't know, was it 150 times? I forget. But you know what's amazing?
Something like that.
For me to know how many cards from the top the card is that you picked would be impossible. I think we agree, ladies? Impossible.
Yeah.
Never
It's
touch the
impossible.
cards.
He's gonna
Never
know
touch
it.
the cards.
He's gonna know.
Wait, I'm getting a feeling. I'm getting a feeling. I'm getting a feeling. You know what I'm getting a feeling? I'm getting a feeling that, yes, wait, they're speaking to me almost, the cards. I think, in total honesty, that the card is exactly 12 cards down from the top. I want you to count 12 cards face down on the table.
Face down.
Face down.
God, Randy.
1.
Uno, dos, tres,
It's going to throw him
cuatro,
off.
He's not gonna know.
cinco, seis,
Oh,
siete,
wow. Didn't know she knew Spanish.
ocho,
Nueve.
nueve, diez.
Yes. 11.
Yeah, 11. And then this is 12 card.
12th card. Now, listen, ladies, think about the odds of this actually working. Slim to none. But I'm feeling pretty good about it. Now, be honest, what was the card you picked? Because I have no idea.
Oh, shoot. Oh, a 9 of clubs.
Was it really? Now,
Yeah.
if that is the 9 of clubs,
Yeah, that was it.
then that would be absolutely ridiculous. Turn it over. I'm hoping for a miracle. Hoping for a miracle. Yes, it is.
That is the 9 of
Oh,
clubs.
my God.
What?
I literally just blew my own mind, Jared.
I can tell.
I have no idea. It's like a gift or something.
You are
That's
so
crazy.
funny. Here you go.
Oh my gosh. Just
See, Randy, are you starting to warm up a little bit?
Almost. Almost.
I like how it was funny and dapper and debonair. Yeah. Wonderful.
He's doing something, but me and my skepticism, I probably feel more comfortable had I had my own set of cards that I know he has never seen, because he could have duplicate number 9 clubs. He have duplicates 5 of spades. I'm just saying.
And as you saw as we cut the cards, Jared, they were not all 9 of clubs. Hey!
Yes, I definitely saw that.
Although that would be one way of doing it. Thank you for the tip.
Yes. Taking notes from Randy O over there.
Randy's going to make me better. I like it.
Now, I won't put you on the spot again, Peter, but maybe one more trick and Randy will be completely convinced over there if you have anything.
Oh, yeah, well, I do, but that one's a good one for the radio because you can kind of follow the storyline there. But let me
Good navigating.
let me do a very quick visual one for you. Now,
Oh, money.
oh, okay. See, I knew that would get Randy's attention. I knew that would get Randy's attention.
Oh, money.
Now, Randy, since you're so fond of the Spanish language, clearly, we'll do this in Spanish, okay? So, uno, dos,
Yes.
tres,
Yes.
cuatro. You're with me on that, right? So how much money do I have?
You have $4.
Okay, thank you for translating that for our English-speaking audience. Okay, so we're going to go. I do appreciate it. Now, you got to watch the ones because, as you said, we're very tricky. Are you ready?
Yes.
Go.
Oh, my God, it's
Now,
100.
they are
Wait a
now
minute.
$100 bills. All of them, and by the way, they are real.
Look at Randy's face. Look, she's blown away.
Okay, wait a minute. You did that
Y'all.
way too fast. Hold on now.
I did because I'm very sneaky. Very, very sneaky.
Wish I knew how to
Give
do
me
that.
all of your money, Randy. Give it all to me.
Believe.
Can you do that that to my paycheck?
I could, but that's illegal.
So what made you get involved in this? I mean, it's quite a profession to say, hey, I want to be a magician of all things, right? Like, I mean, that's not, going from a corporate job to
not the most common denominator
to changing, $1 bills to $100 bills. I mean, that's quite a skill set over there, cool. Peter.
Why am I wasting my time doing magic? I should just sit at home doing that all day long.
Honestly, you would have it made, man.
I got carpal tunnel. That's why I had to stop. But to answer your question, I started learning magic when I was young. I was 5 years old and had a babysitter that was a great influence. He was, my parents, in their infinite wisdom, hired a magician as their babysitter. What a great idea for any parent. But I was entertained by the guy. He was amazing. He went on, actually owns his own company in the Silicon Valley now, but he paid his entire college tuition at MIT doing magic shows. Oh, wow. So he was good. And, it had a big influence on me. By the time I was, like 8, I was doing, little shows around the neighborhood. And then took a hiatus for a while, met my wife. And when I met her, she was a youth director at a church and said, well, maybe the teenagers would find it cool. So maybe show them a couple of things. And I did. And all of a sudden, it was like a light switch. It was like, I love magic. I totally forgot. This is 23 years ago. And then I started practicing 8 hours a day. Every day. And it was just like obsessed. And like, this is what I want to be.
And you started practicing 8 hours a day. How old were you again?
So at that point, I would have been like late 20s.
Late 20s, practicing 8 hours a day.
And being in sales, I was, every single client got magic throughout the day. It was just a nonstop thing.
You're just over there. Okay, all right, here. You want to make the sale? I got this for you.
Great leave behind.
And you're so good with people. You have a natural. Yeah. I mean, I went to your show, and it's just you're electric on stage. You really have a great presence, and you really bring the people alive. I mean, you brought me up on stage, and I was flabbergasted by the magic you did. So
well, and that's a great point, though. That a lot of people who haven't seen a live magic show don't really know what they're in for. They're like, okay, magic, it's gonna be a bunch of tricks. But no, it's a show that's so unique in how it's set up, and we have only 42 guests, so everyone feels like they're part of it.
Right.
However, they're not put on the spot, so that would be a concern of some audience. Oh God, he's gonna call me up and he's gonna make a fool of me.
No, it was fun.
Nothing like that. It's always that I'm just trying to make their day basically, and make them part of the fun. And I'm very good, as you said, reading, so I know if someone's sitting there and they're looking at me like, about to die, if I put a call on them, I don't do it,
Right.
So
I want to know, like you said, you had a mentor that taught you, your babysitter, so do you have mentees and that follow you now that, they look under you, as well as on your show? Do you have opening acts for them to start and then you're the main act?
Yeah, so it's a great question. I don't have anyone who fills in for me or anyone who's an opening act. And the main reason why, you're creating a brand. And it's supposed to be, people are paying to see a professional show. So you're not going to have the introducing the new guy kind of thing there. But I am starting to, in the future, I would see helping mentor different people. But typically it's professional. So it would be people that are maybe looking at some coaching on the important part, which is the entertainment part. Mm-hmm. Anyone can learn the stuff, if they want to. But it's making it entertaining. And knowing who you are on stage is just critical to making it successful.
Very good point.
Now, my other question is, I remember you telling me this when we went to your show. You said that the size of the theater, that 42-seat theater, and I guess it's not a perfect square, right? But you said that
it's a rectangle.
The rectangle. Why is that size significant? I remember you telling me, but I remember briefly. I don't have quite the memory that you do there, Peter.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing. So the show in San Francisco, I had, there's dimensions to the theater. So it's 18 and a half feet wide. And it's still there. It's called the Marrakesh Magic Theater. And it was 26 and a half feet deep. And through the Convention Bureau, I met a fellow through Embassy Suites, Dale Gustafson, who said, hey, you got this, place. Maybe I'd like to show it to you. And I walked in. I'm like, this is perfect. And he goes, really? Yeah, it's 18 and a half feet wide. And so it was exactly the same size as the other venue. So it's remarkable. It's just it's perfect. It lays out exactly the same.
And that makes it to where the performance is intimate enough for those that are sitting in the back, right? Like you want people to feel. I've been to a magic show while I was in Vegas, and there was thousands of people in the back. So where I was sitting, I was so far back that I was skeptical about it. And the great thing about your setup in that room is that we were sitting in the center of the room, and there was no chance that you could have done anything up there. There's no, no getting away with anything with what your setup is there. And I really appreciate that as a viewer / attendee.
Feels very organic that way. Yeah,
it does. It feels natural that way. And I'm glad that you went that direction. If it means anything coming from me, Peter.
Yeah, no, it does, Jared. Because you have a point of reference. You saw the other show, the Big Vegas show, and you probably spent $100 to see it.
I did spend a lot, yes.
Yeah, it's expensive in Vegas. And so you can come out here and very frequently I'll have people, oh, yeah, we just got back from Vegas. We saw so-and-so, and, you've got some competition tonight. And I'm like, okay, great. Well, I hope you have a great time. And unanimously, they'll come after the show and go, oh, my gosh, wow, this is the way it's supposed to be seen in that small environment. Because like you said, you just not a bad seat. It feels organic. There's there are no assistants. It's just, it must be magic.
So how many weeks off?
Oh, the plug.
Randy's coming around.
Randy, now we are running close out of time here. Now, Randy, are you a believer now? Or?
Well, that $1 to $100, that was awesome. Can we do that again on the boomerang on Instagram? Can we do like a boomerang? That was really awesome. You kind of got me on that. All right, that's all.
I think it would be really cool, Peter, if we could end the show with one last trick. If you have one up your sleeve.
Oh, of course.
Of
course. It's literally up my sleeve. Look.
I was ready.
Well, you know what I'd like to do? I would actually like to get Randy's autograph because, Randy.
Oh, my God.
Randy, I feel honored to be in your presence. You are
this guy
quite the little babe. Seriously.
It's like she's blushing.
Because this guy is smooth. He's a smooth criminal, ladies and gentlemen, okay?
So, earlier you made a great point. She did. She made a great point. She said, what if, it was my deck of cards? Because maybe he's got like 109 of clubs, right? Which I don't. But, even if I did, right? Even if I did. So what I like to do is actually get you to sign your name on a card. This way, it's the only one. Okay, so I'm coming over to you. I'm coming closer. So
well done sliding the mic to you like a pro.
And
I'd
like you to go ahead and take out any card you like with a number. Now, it's your choice. Help yourself.
You can look. You're looking.
I get the permission to see this one time only. Okay, yeah. Help yourself. Go ahead. Take one out for me. It doesn't matter.
Randy, pull the mic with you.
I'm pulling the mic. All right.
Okay, now here I have a pen. I came prepared.
Okay.
Done this before. So put your name on it like an autograph so we can't copy.
Peter, no judgment. I have chicken scratch handwriting, okay?
That's okay. No judgment. I am judging you right now.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that.
That is really nice.
All right,
wow.
y'all so nice, whatever. But yes.
Well, what you said it down. You know what's really important though? You know what's yours now.
I do.
I think it doesn't come off. I wouldn't want to. Then I'd mar the suit and everything.
Yes.
So I'm going to go ahead, have you push the 5 all the way in with your name on it. Okay, go ahead.
Can I look and see?
Push it on. Push it in.
Can I look and see that that's the 5?
Push
of course
it
you
real
could.
good.
Of course you could.
We already closed it.
But is it here?
No, we put it in the middle, allegedly.
Well, I did. That's why it's not on the top. Okay, so I want you, Randy, to watch the top card. Are you ready? Now, here's the magic part. You got to watch for it, Randy. Here it goes. Okay, it just happened. Now, Randy, I didn't do anything, but it worked. I'll do it again. You can't mention. You can't do. No, Randy. Randy. Yes. Yes. I'll do it again. Now, I think what would be fair though is if I do it a little more slowly, and I'll show you again. It's not there yet because remember, what do I have to do? I have to do the gesture right now. Watch. Here it goes again. What was on top, Randy? Tell our audience.
I
joker.
don't know.
That's called a joker.
It's
called a joker. That's called a joker.
Okay,
joker.
yes.
Okay. Is that your card? No.
No.
Okay. Now, but what did I do just now, Randy? Did I pass my hand over the card?
You did just now.
Did I even touch him? No.
You did not.
Because it actually is back again.
What the world?
Now, Randy, we're going to do it one last time.
Stop it.
I'm not going to stop. I can't.
Oh my gosh.
Randy, we're going to do it one more time. Now, I like what you said earlier. What if you were the one who pushed it in? And I'll tell you what, we're going to go middle of the middle this time. So we'll do it a couple more times. But you know what, Randy, I'll tell you what. See, it's already happened.
Oh, my God.
Now,
wait a minute.
Randy, here, you should do it yourself.
I'm not playing with you,
Peter. Just push.
Randy's eyes are so big right now. I've never seen her eyes this big in my life.
And it just happened.
Peter!
I know.
What the hell's bells is happening?
Well, I clearly have hypnotized you, and you signed 800 5 of hearts.
That's exactly what happened.
That must be it.
Yo, okay.
Did you want the money now?
Oh, yes.
I got something else for you, actually.
Can I do a boomerang with it?
Well, it's not money, but look, if you look here, now the cards are on the table, right? You can see that. Your card is mixed in there somewhere, but I can't give you the hundreds. That's illegal. But I have in my change compartment here, zippered up, buried down inside, folded up, one very special card.
It.
No way.
5 of hearts with your name
Look
right
at
across the face.
No, sir. No, sir. When did you even do this?
Jared, I would drop the mic, but it's on a boom.
That is absolutely amazing,
God.
Peter. Listen, you have got to see this guy, Peter Morrison, the Atlanta Magic Theater.
I'm sold.
Peter, thank you so much for coming in this week for
my
this
pleasure.
episode of the Power Pod. We
much fun.
love it. You're a great guest. We're definitely going to have you on again. We definitely want to go to your show again at some point soon.
I appreciate it, Jared. That'd be awesome, man.
And
Appreciate you having me on the show.
Fridays at 8:30 and Saturdays 6:30 and 9:30, correct?
That's it. And
Look at that memory. Your memory is rubbing off on me there, Peter.
Rubbing
I like
off.
this.
It's rubbing off. By the way, I would like to mention just very important. Those who are coming, they should definitely come early. We do a whole pre-show over at the Roost Chris at Embassy, so it's great. People can have the same experience that you had here at Up Close Magic before the show. It's like 2 shows in one.
Have a cocktail, watch some magic before the show.
Hey.
Sounds like my kind of night.
Loosen the eyes.
I do have a question real quick. Did you ever think about being on, like, was it X Factor? Like, where people was doing, you show your talent, or America's Got Talent. You never thought about doing that?
Yeah, America's Got Talent's a great show. I love the show. I love it. But the thing about America's Got Talent is really for those people who don't have their own show already. So I already have my own show.
Big old fact.
And he's happy with it. He's happy here in
Excuse
Atlanta.
me, Peter.
Yeah.
Right there at the Embassy Suites in downtown. He's got the Georgia Magic Theater in Peachtree City. Check out his website. He's got the domain for it, atlantamagictheater.com. Now, Peter, as we always in every Power Pod, what we always do is we put our hands in the middle. You want to put your hand in the middle with
I
us?
want my hand in the
do it.
middle.
Okay, yeah, you got to put there's no magic
Right
in this,
next to Randy.
There's no magic in this, but look,
Let me do my boomerang.
Randy's like, get your boomerang up over there. All right, ready?
Georgie Poo.
On the count of 3, Georgie, get your hand in there. 3, 2, 1.
Power Pod!